Estamos subindo aqui o Monte de Massada, onde foi a última resistência do povo judeu. Estamos num teleférico, estamos subindo a montanha aqui. Vocês podem ver, é muito alto aqui as grutas. É fantástico. Enquanto um sobe, o outro desce. Nós vamos ter uma vista lá de cima. Aqui era um antigo palácio de Herodes, que foi utilizado com a resistência de Israel judeu no ano 73. O Império Romano conquistou isso aqui, onde mais de 300 judeus foram suicidados para não se entregar escravo ao exército romano. Isso é fantástico. Subindo, estamos muito alto agora. Você pode ver, mas eu estou mirando na serra. Então, mas vou mostrar aqui um pouco o vale. Estou mais ou menos no meio, então não dá para ter muita visão. Mas aqui vamos entrar na plataforma. Aqui creio que ele abre a porta.
Sara, su esposa, se hizo la esposa de Lot, se hizo como culpable de Sara. Eso está más sobre aquí. Sí, es el mismo lugar. No está aquí. Eso es sentiero.
Please catch up the party out of the bulletins. We hope you enjoy your visit.
7 veces alrededor de los meses. Y los arqueólogos tienen debate si tiene que ver o no tiene que ver. Hay un problema con las fechas.
Bom, chegamos aqui no final. Vamos esperar a porta abrir. A porta já abriu.
Ok, vamos a dar unas explicaciones aquí.
Vou mostrar aqui. Tem uma visão do Mar Morto, deste vale todo. Vou tirar umas fotos.
Vamos a hablar de mucho de eso, pero eso es el simbolismo. Que un grupo pequeño que sabían que no tenían la posibilidad de sobrevivir contra un enemigo como los romanos, la imperio romana, con el mejor ejército del mundo, no estuvieron de acuerdo de perder. Ellos dijeron, no vamos a perder, vamos a suicidarse antes de que nos entregamos en sus manos. Eso es el simbolismo. Y hay mucha discusión, suicidio, bueno, malo, por qué suicidio, todo eso. Aquí podemos ver el sendero de la serpiente. Eso es el sendero que sube de aquí. Ustedes ven que no hay nadie, está cerrado por el calor. Entonces subimos con teleférico, hace mucho calor aquí. Entonces siempre cierran el teleférico después como de las 8 de la mañana. El teleférico ustedes pueden ver, nosotros vamos a estar ahí en 15 minutos, 20 minutos vamos a estar en el teleférico y vamos a subir. Entonces, después...
Romans and idealists fight to the death. It's no wonder that Hollywood jumped at the opportunity to tell this fascinating story. With an impressive set and thousands of extras, they created a colossal film featuring the rebel leader Eleazar, son of Yair, and the Roman commander Flavius Silva in the leading roles. However, in the movie, unlike real life, no one really deals with the dilemmas or personal struggles, and certainly not with the more problematic aspects of the story. Then where should we start our story? We could start with the Hasmoneans, who were the first to discover the advantages of this isolated cliff in the heart of the desert. Or we could start at the end, with a dramatic project of Massada excavations, with Egal Yadin, the head of the excavation team, who would stand on the mountain and read Josephus Flavius' description of the account, and everyone around him could actually hear the echoes of the fighting. Or we could start the quest with King Herod. Herod, who ruled under the auspices of the Romans, built himself a magnificent fortress here on the mountain, which was to be his sanctuary in troubled times. And believe me, he really had troubles. Herod, like any other king, built his palaces to the highest standards of his day. One of them is this Western Palace. Herod's architect was probably a short guy. Here he built himself a bathhouse, and he would put his lamp here and enter his bath. What can I tell you? This king loved the good life. Until now, we spoke about Herod. It wasn't the splendor of Herod's style that made Massada what it is today. The year 66 AD, the Jews rebel against the Roman Empire. 4 years later, the temple is destroyed. Jerusalem falls. Everywhere else, the rebels were suppressed. Massada is the last stronghold where there are still Jewish rebels. And believe me, they didn't need Herod's palaces. The rooms in the wall were divided and used as living quarters. They lived from food in the storerooms, and they drank water from the cisterns, kindly left behind by Herod long ago.
Right from the beginning of the excavations, signs of the rebels were found elsewhere, in the palaces, in the ritual baths, and in particular in the wall. The deepest experience I went through in Massada was when they found in this particular room the first piece of scroll. To see Hebrew letters coming out of the ground, the same letters which are used until today. Later, more fragments of scrolls are found. One I found with my own hands, but the first experience is unforgettable.
Throughout the revolt, groups of refugees sought asylum on the mountain. About 1,000 rebels gathered at this fortress in the heart of the wilderness. In 73 AD, the Romans' 10th Legion arrived with thousands of armed soldiers who deployed themselves around the mountain. An enormous war machine. And the movies knew it best, after the Romans, of course. The Romans built an attack ramp. The besieged rebels rolled stones down it. The Romans lifted a tower to the top of the ramp, equipped with a battering ram to smash the wall. The besieged erect a wood and earthen wall to sustain the blows of the battering ram. The Romans burned it, but the wind almost burns their own tower. Then the wind veering as if by divine providence to the south, blowing with full force in the opposite direction, flung flames against the wall, which now was all ablaze. And in the evening, when the wall was burned and breached, the Roman army returned to its camps, assured that the whole affair would be over by morning. But Eleazar had ideas of his own. This is it, the last night. My friends, we've reached the climax of the drama. However, unlike the movie, here apparently the events actually took place. And here at Massada, men with families were forced to decide slavery or death. Eleazar had no doubts, but he had yet to convince his comrades in arms. Ladies and gentlemen, the speech of Eleazar. Oh, my loyal followers, the time has now come that obliges us to make that resolution true in practice. Let our wives die before they are abused, and our children before they have tasted slavery, and preserve ourselves in freedom is an excellent funeral monument for us, as we have preferred death before slavery. Once Egal Yadin was asked what was the most important artifact he found on Massada. Dozens of priceless objects were found here, he answered, but if I must point to one find, it would be these ostraka. These potsherds. These may be the lots that I'm holding now. Potsherds on which the rebels wrote their names. 10 men who were chosen were the only ones who remained. Their equipment had already burnt, and each of them had already killed his wife and children. Then they drew the lots. Who would kill the 9th man and fall on his own sword? And in the morning the Romans arrived, and besides 2 women and a few children, everyone was dead. After the drama came silence. The silence was broken in the 5th century for nearly 200 years by a community of Byzantine monks. 1,200 years later, the first explorers came and rediscovered the mountain. Then the members of the youth movements, seeking a symbol of Jewish heroism, discovered Massada and adopted the mountain. After them came the hikers and the tourists. Massada had become a focus of pilgrimage. Professor Netzer, what do you really think about the act of courage that ended in suicide?
Maybe it's the utmost courage to prefer death to a life of slavery.
So it's death or freedom?
Yes, death as a free man or slavery in the hands of the Romans. Which choice would you make?
No matter what, Massada has become a symbol of staunch resistance against a fierce enemy. And if it is a symbol, then perhaps this might be some kind of victory. Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to climb the mountain.
Nós estamos nos armazéns de Herodes. Você pode ver. Vou fazer um pequeno vídeo aqui para mostrar esse local.